everybody, how's it going? It is August the 25th, 2020. This is Fandom Empire. That's the type of fucking day it's been, people. If any of you guys have me on Facebook, you've seen what the last 24 hours has been like. This is Fandom Empire Live. I'm your host, Sean. Thank you for taking the next 60 to 90 minutes out of your night. I was going to say day, force a habit. Usually Fandom Empire Live is supposed to be in the day. But if you've seen the upcoming schedule changes, you know that is no longer the case. Anyways, thank you for joining us this evening to talk Halloween. Specifically, we're going to dive in to how Halloween H2O serves Halloween 2 as a sequel. Because a lot of people, go, okay, well, it's Halloween 20 years later, and they just assume, they look at it more of a sequel to the first movie, when in fact Halloween H2O is a sequel to the second movie. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to dive into the Batman because, that 2.5 minutes of sexiness and just, rock your world full of the Batman, the Dark Knight, Matt Reeves' interpretation of the Batman, year 2 to be exact. We're going to dive into that, and we're going to be joined by the guys from the Rogue Sons of Star Wars podcast, who are also full-time members of the Imperial Remnant broadcast, which debuts right here next week, right around this time. Kieran and Thaden will be along to talk some Kenobi news and go over that Batman teaser with us, because it's a doozy. Oh my God, I can't get it out of my head. No matter how much shit is going on around me that is occupying my stress level at the moment, being able to rewatch that trailer again and again and again has been amazing. Now, if you're someone who doesn't like the Batman trailer, you're probably not going to like a lot of our opinions here, because as far as I know, Kieran and Thaden are over the moon about it, I think. And, Intel Wild's already in here with a $50 super chat, and I haven't even, no Tommy B? No Tommy B? There's Tommy B! He's not rocking his pimp hat or his cane or his coat. Couldn't even get through my long tangent intro to get you in here before your boy Intel Wild was missing you, man. What's going on, dude? Can't hear you, bro. You got the mute monster. The mute monster.
Wow, I guess we're all screwing up tonight, aren't we?
We're all fucking up.
I did the whole WhatsApp thing, but I guess that's over now. I don't get to do that. Okay, another time. Hey, I'm hanging in there. It's Tuesday, another Tuesday, hanging in there. Dreading a nice big dentist appointment for tomorrow.
Ooh.
They're gonna throw me in that big bad chair and dig around with some stuff and maybe put some stuff in there. I don't remember everything exactly.
I'll say this. Putting stuff in there, in my opinion, is a lot less painful than taking things out.
I've had both done.
Me too. And when you take the things out, you're generally just like, let me be honest here. I do not have a perfect set of teeth. I have become very gifted in my ability to hide my teeth while talking to people. That just comes from stupid childhood decisions, and getting hit with a hockey puck in the mouth certainly doesn't help. True Canadian right here. But let me tell you, there's pain. I'm speaking as someone who's been through treatment. Someone who's been in an accident, has had a 6-foot fall off a ladder. There's no pain like dental pain. Like, I think I'd rather lose a testicle than have to go through severe dental pain. You feeling it, bro? You feeling it? Are you okay? Or you got some pain there?
Wow, that wasn't pleasant. No, I'm doing fine. I think what I just need is, your routine fillings, that sort of thing. I've had so much work done in the past, but I guess I still haven't learned my lesson. So
you haven't learned shit, bro. Yeah,
It's not. I mean, I just keep throwing more and more money away, and I'm like, well, when's it going to be enough? And I'm just going to say, just take them all out and give me dentures.
I love it. Here's a look at one of my old dentists up here. He'll I don't have a pen handy, but he'll just be like, all right, yeah, everything, you want to clean them a little better and floss more, and yeah, that'll be $175. What?
$175. Well, I'm fully expecting to go in there and drop a few times that tomorrow.
What? Oh, yeah. Man.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and we have some of the best dental you can get. It's
Sorry, Mike the mask maker was messaging me. I know people have been asking, where are the masks? Where are the masks? Why aren't they here? Okay, so those of you that are getting masks, we're going to be doing a draw, by the way, to give one mask away. Not give away, people entered a draw about a month and a half ago, and we're going to find out who the winner of that is later this week or early next week. But Mike is filming his own fan film. Mike is still running his side of the business, doing other things, plus making, anywhere from 8 to 15 masks at once. He wants to make sure that everybody gets, a high quality mask. They don't want a rush job. They don't want it to look like shit. You want it, minus the big hole. You want it to look like this beautiful specimen right here. This is what you want, people. You don't want a rush job. And when he's making so many at once, you want to give him time to get the detail. Now, I know there's shipping galore, shipping issues galore with what's going on with USPS in the States. My advice is don't use USPS for those of you that are getting masks. Use any other method, even if you have to pay a bit more. Because we are not responsible for you getting those masks. As soon as it goes to the shipper, that's it. And you guys have known that since the beginning. Anyways.
You've had issues with UPS.
Yep. Yeah, no, for sure.
So basically, while we, as Fandom Empire, do not want to endorse any particular shipper or carrier, you might be better off with going FedEx right now.
No, for sure. More expensive. Same with DHL, but you want to get the product too. So, Frank Riker, DMV waiting line is worse than the dentist. Well, Frank, that is where I spent a good portion of my day today. So, it's right up there, brother.
Depends on where you are. I mean, some states, some provinces and all, they have their DMV shit under control, but I'm guessing with what you're about to say, Sean, that is not Ontario.
No, rarely ever is. And now with the COVID regulations, things are just fucking everywhere, man. It's just the way it is. So again, if you missed the beginning, the way this works is we are talking Halloween, specifically Halloween H2O and Halloween 2. And then we're going to take a little 2 or 3 minute break. We're going to pull in. You're going to see it happening, okay? There's no way for us to avoid you guys seeing it happen. We're going to pull in Kieran and Thaden, and then we're going to talk the Batman and a little bit of Star Wars. So we got one hell of a show. If at any point during the show you guys want to send in a super chat and interrupt the show, go ahead. We will read your super chat on air. Anything that comes into the channel goes back into the channel. We appreciate the support, whether it's financially or just spending an hour and a half of your night here and there with each and every one of us. But before we go any further, I want to remind people of next week's schedule. Next week, the Fandom Empire YouTube schedule changes for the next several months. So on Tuesday nights, we're doing the Imperial Remnant broadcast, a new Star Wars YouTube show and podcast, which is a joint collab between the Star Wars Renegades guys and the Rogue Sons of Star Wars podcast. On Wednesday night, we have Supernatural Revisited. We're going to be talking about episodes 1 and 2 in Supernatural, not season 15, season 1. So we're going to talk about that. And then on Thursday nights, you're going to have the normally scheduled Fandom Empire Live. You'll still get impromptu shows like this one right here. But every Thursday night, you'll be able to catch an episode of Fandom Empire Live with some better planned out material. Frank Riker. Wow, whoops. Intel Wild in with another super chat. Hey, watch the UPS comments, Tommy B. My employer actually bash away. LOL.
Whoops. Well, I guess I better be kind then.
All right, so let's dive into this a little, man. Not expecting huge numbers tonight. It was not a well-advertised show. I expected to be home 6 hours ago when I wasn't. Like, I've been home not even an hour or so. Anyways, Halloween H2O, man. For, whether you love it, you hate it, it's a very nostalgia-driven movie. I think it's I'm going to use the term softcore for my liking. It feels like a PG-13 movie. It doesn't even feel, I get it. Some people compare it to Scream. Obviously, there's the Williamson connection. But for me, it's not even it's not as gritty as Scream. I don't think it's as scary as Scream. But yet, I find myself liking Halloween H2O a lot at times, and other times thinking, meh. I have this love-hate relationship with Halloween H2O. But tonight, at least for the next 15 minutes or so, I want to talk to you now that you've had a chance to see most of the Halloween movies, except for Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, which is obviously a masterpiece. That's my job. Jeez. Unbelievable. Anyways. Look, I know some people say continuity, schmontinuity, not that important. But I'm a big continuity guy, man. And I know you and I have talked about this with Star Wars in the past. There's very, there's a decent bit of Halloween movies, but they're not everywhere. When you look at Halloween H2O as a follow-up to Halloween 2, the 1981 movie that we watched during the first Hollywood movie night on Saturday, there's so many things that just don't feel right about it. Like, have you looked at Michael's hands in Halloween H2O? They're fine. There's no burning or scarring or, Then again, for the last 20 years, maybe Michael was a Walmart greeter and saved up his money and got some really good plastic surgery on his hands. And, you see enough of his eyes with how big the eye holes are in the one Halloween Halloween H2O mask out of the 4 they use. Hey, he's got both of his eyes. How did that happen? Pretty sure he got shot in the eyes, didn't he? I don't know. For me, I was always taken a little bit out of the movie because we know it's supposed to be a follow-up to Halloween 2. In that particular timeline, it's 1, 2, H2O Resurrection. And I don't know, dude. Maybe I'm being nitpicky here. The chat can get on me and say, Sean, shut up! But for me, those things matter. I think you're taking away some of the credibility from Halloween 2. I think, they're basically picking and choosing what they're going to follow from Halloween 2. And to me, that's not right. You either follow it or it didn't happen. You don't pick and choose. Tommy, where are you with that? Because, to me, they're, very noticeable issues.
So, whenever we talk about continuity in H2O, the first thing I like to bring to mind is the fact that H2O and Resurrection are indeed their own continuity, with 1 and 2, that is. When I was first going into H2O, I did think that the Thorne films led into it. That was I found out pretty quickly personally that was not the case when you compare Jamie, the age she would have been when Laurie was supposed to have died, which I actually assumed was her way of faking her death. And you look at the age of her son, whose name I can't remember right now.
John!
Okay. Yeah.
Little punk-ass bitch.
In that film is as old as Laurie was on Halloween night, 1978. Which
17,
was 17.
The birthday card they pan
up
onto.
with the age that Jamie was, which was 6 or 7 when Laurie would have died. I think she was 8 in, the Thorn trilogy, the Thorn movies. So that's the first thing we need to rule out here, because I've also figured out I was not the only person who thought that way, and other folks did make that connection. As far as the actual continuity sake goes, for it being a sequel to 2, I will say that I did enjoy what they did with Laurie, because you see her as very much a hurt person. She's disturbed. Halloween night, 1978, she did not escape from it unscarred. It's not something that she's left in her past. It's something that she struggled with. You could say every day, because she's got her issues she brings into her daily life, but especially on Halloween. And so you see this Halloween 20 years later. She's struggling, number 1, to do her job. Number 2, be mom. Number 3, this is a battle she wants to fight, and she goes at it with him. Now, I liked H2O. I really enjoyed the film. I would admit that there were a few parts that could have been a little more, adult-centered. That didn't really bother me. That wasn't the worst thing in the world, though. Basically, the worst part of H2O to me was the soundtrack, the score. I have no problem saying that.
Man,
is one of the maybe not the worst one of the whole franchise.
Oh no, it's the worst one of the whole franchise. Like, okay. Oh my God, it's talk about, like, as Dave McRae says over on his channel, he loves this saying, mood and atmosphere, or in Frank Riker's terms, boobs and atmosphere. Like, your soundtrack, your score is a huge component to the movie. Look at the original Halloween, look at the Star Wars trilogy, or any of the movies for that matter. And, like, you talk about shooting yourself in the foot. They didn't just shoot themselves in the foot. They cut their bloody foot off, threw it on the fucking barbecue, fried it up, and ate it themselves. Because holy fuck, all film's subjective, so maybe not everybody feels that way. But in my opinion, the Halloween H2O score is a complete fucking mess. Like, you talk about taking someone out of a movie, that's a good way to do it. So, I mean, I want to focus in just a little bit on the questions that I asked you earlier, Tommy. Does it bother you at all that, like, there are no burn effects at all on Michael? His eyes look like they're in, great shape. He can very visibly see, and you see his eyes because of that fucking mask. Like, to me, it takes me out of the movie. The hands are fresh. The eyes are there. Like, did the last 15 minutes of Halloween H2O just not happen? Is that what happened? Like,
he healed.
Or sorry, H2?
Yeah, I get it. He healed.
He healed, huh?
I don't like to see Michael Myers portrayed as human. He is human, of course. But I like the mystifying sense there. So while I totally get that you need to include, like, oh, well, he got shot in the eyes, he's temporarily blind back in H2. I like thinking that he could have bounced back from that, especially over 2 decades. That's not a satisfying enough experience for some people. I get that.
So he bounced back from severe scarring across 90% of his body and bought himself a new pair of eyes?
I mean, Loomis didn't die, so.
That's true. That's true.
But, the other thing, let me, and I'm sure we're going to revisit this, or maybe we can just springboard into this now. But when we look at the ending for H2O,
Whoa.
well, you just whacked yourself in the head. You
That was
good there?
close.
You going to drop out on screen?
I've never had that happen before.
You know, you're looking at the ending of H2O. I thought that was a satisfying way to end the film. I did. I liked how you know, you see Laurie still struggling with her, you know, her personal issues, and basically she just decides, I need to do this, and she goes off and does it. And Michael gets decapitated. And it wasn't Michael, as we see in Resurrection. That, to me, was absolutely terrible. We've talked about this in the past. It really fries the ending of H2O when you have to view it in context of the whole timeline, you know, you're working on there. You can view H2O by itself and try to divorce that ending from that, you know, retcon there. But the fact is, it happens in the H2O timeline, and it really takes a hit. And to me, personally, that's a big cave when it comes to the overhumanizing of Michael Myers. I'd like to believe that he could have picked his head back up eventually or something. Maybe bring another cult thing in. That's what I was kind of thinking was going to happen.
I think you're being way too kind personally, but that's just my opinion.
Maybe.
Let's be honest. They humanized the shit out of Michael Myers in H2O. Laurie beats him using a flagpole. It's like 10 feet through a table, which right after he barely got stabbed, and that's enough to knock him out for a while. Like, oof, man.
He picked up those keys. That part really bothered me. It probably wasn't all that much to a lot of people, but those keys fall through that fence. Well, he picks them up and unlocks the fence. I don't want to see him pick up keys and unlock the fence. I want to see him walk through the fence or do something crazy like he did with the hospital window in H2.
Intel Wild in with another super chat. Jamie Lee Curtis said, Halloween Kills is, and I quote, a masterpiece. Shake my head. You can't say that kind of stuff. OG Halloween is a masterpiece. Everything else is great, very good, average. Yeah, the masterpiece is a word that's thrown out there way too often with movies. I mean, it's fairly common knowledge now out there that this people know this channel has the script for Halloween Kills, and I mean, it is floating out there and around. And Tommy and I have had the fluke privilege of being able to read it, and on paper, it sounds like a fucking amazing Halloween film. On paper, it sounds like it could be the best Halloween sequel ever, period, by some margin. But does that make it a masterpiece? No. And here's another piece of advice. I highly doubt Jamie Lee Curtis has seen the finished product. As popular as she is and how important she is to the marketing, I mean, they're still remixing it for IMAX and doing a conversion. Jamie Lee Curtis just doesn't know shit. She's saying what she has to say. The same way that Mark Hamill came out and started to support The Last Jedi, and then you started to see some of the truth come out, and he was less supportive of it even more, and you started to see less interviews with him. It's their job, whether the film is complete fucking dog shit or the second coming of The Godfather Part 2, to promote this film positively, because that's how you get asses in the seat. Speaking of which, Jade and I are going to see Tenet tomorrow. We're going to see our second movie of 2020. The fact it is August and we are only going to see our second movie of 2020 lets you know what kind of year this has been. I love going to the movie theater. They are drastically socially distancing the movie theaters up here, man. Not just 6 feet either. We're in what's normally, I think, a 200-seat theater, and I think there was 32 seats available to purchase. And that's period. The max capacity for that theater is 32 people right now. So, I mean, I can't wait to see Tenet. We're going to do or at least I'm going to do a review of it here on the channel. Blockbuster movie. It has 49 showtimes tomorrow, which is just ridiculous. Frank Riker said something in the chat that I want to go back to. Has anyone noticed Jamie Lee Curtis always talks about the Halloween movie she's in is the best? She did it with H2O and H18. Her character needs to die. Frank, I'm with you, brother. Kill Jamie Lee Curtis. Better yet, let Michael kill Jamie Lee Curtis. And not in the cheap, fucking terrible way they did it in Halloween Resurrection.
Here's something, and I'm not a veteran fan. The franchise, Hardcore Matters. Maybe some folks can speak to this. Maybe they can dismiss it. I read somewhere that current times or whatever, Jamie Lee Curtis doesn't like to talk too much about previous films of the franchise. Maybe that excludes H2O, maybe not. But yeah, basically 3. Well, yeah, 3 of course. But anything after H1 and H2, apparently she doesn't like to really recognize or talk about much. Is there any truth to that, or is that just total bull?
I mean, look, Jamie Lee Curtis is a controversial figure when it comes to the Halloween franchise. Most people love her because she's a scream queen. She's the original. I get it, but I got to be honest, dude. I am not a big Jamie Lee Curtis fan, at all. And I get it.
All that in Activia.
Some people might think that's blasphemy. But I don't know. Jamie Lee Curtis has never really did it for me, except for in True Lies. And if Jade's watching this right now, I'm in some trouble. But I don't know, man. I'm not a big Jamie Lee Curtis fan. That said, when I seen Halloween 2018 at TIFF, I was completely blown away by her performance as a struggling Laurie Strode who's been dealing with this, the fallout of this for 40 years, and it has torn apart her life and the person that she is and her relationship with her family. So when she says, to me, Jamie Lee Curtis's best performance is Halloween 2018. And I don't even think it's close. Jamie was, Halloween may have been her first movie or one of her firsts. But at the end of the day, whether you like Halloween 2018 or not, I'll fight people to the death on defending her performance in 2018. She has grown as an actress.
You got to give it credit. Acting's come a long way since then. Horror's come a long way since H2 and H1, H2. It really has. I mean, it's hard to make the comparison. You know what I'm saying?
No, I get what you're saying.
And you got years of wisdom and experience and all that good juju.
I mean, I get what you're saying, but for me, there's just something about Jamie Lee Curtis that rubs me the wrong way. Ray, who, what I understand... Oh, Tommy, see, anytime we add someone to the call, Tommy's window just goes haywire. Apologies for the background noise, guys. I'm going to get Kieran and Thaden to mute their mics for a second or mute their phones, whatever they're on. I don't know. At the end of the day, Jamie Lee Curtis just is not a huge... I'm not a huge Jamie Lee Curtis fan, but I tip my hat to her on the performance that she gave in Halloween 2018. Without further ado, guys, we're going to start talking the Batman and some Star Wars stuff. We might backtrack to some Halloween stuff for all your questions, but right now, Trading Places is a good one, Frank. Right now, I want to ask the audience a question. I want everybody to chime in. So we focused in on how we feel about Halloween H2O as a sequel to Halloween 2. How do all of you guys in the chat right now, or if you're watching afterwards, I want you to comment down below. We do our best to get to everybody. Do you guys think Halloween H2O is a true sequel to Halloween 2? Or is there just too many facts that are ignored that make you go, no, they were too, they didn't honor H2 enough Where are you? Is it a true sequel, or do you have issues with Halloween H2O as a follow-up to Halloween 2? Comment in the comment section below or to the side or wherever the hell it is right now. And we're going to take about 2 minutes here while I pull the other guys in here. I know they're in Skype, but we got to set it up. So in the meantime, enjoy the intro. All right, without further ado, joining us from the Rogue Sons of Star Wars podcast, it is Kieran and Thaden. We're going to talk some Batman. We're going to talk some Star Wars. We might backtrack to some Halloween. You guys are back fresh from a retreat. How's it going, boys?
Oh, we had a great time.
Yeah, it's going pretty good.
I was going to say the last time.
Got out a lot and, kind of retreated away from technology for a bit. It was good.
Watched a lot of Batman stuff, though.
Ooh, what'd you watch?
Well, just the new trailers and stuff. Suicide Squad game, our Gotham Knights, and the Batman trailer.
Oh, my God. How good does Gotham Knights look, man? Oh, my God.
Great.
I haven't seen the panel on it, though. Like, I don't know much information on the game, but I think Gotham Knights looks mind-blowingly good. Is it just a single-player game, or is it a multiplayer game you can play online?
Two-player multiplayer.
Nice.
You only play as the other character, not Batman. But it looks like it's pretty much an online co-op Arkham game, which is amazing. Except it's not in that universe.
That is epic. Although I believe the Justice League versus Suicide Squad game is in that universe, correct?
It is, yes. I'm super excited for that.
Look at
Arkham
me, I know a thing or two.
is my second favorite thing.
This guy's really big Arkham Knights game. All the games. He's so into it.
I have all the games. I've played them all like 10 times plus. And I have all of the comics, which is like 100. It's probably more than that. And I've read all of them, and it's great. I love them.
For me, I've only played and beat the first one. As much as I'm ashamed to admit it, I've only played and beat the first one. I don't game as much as I did when I was younger. But I got to tell you, when I got the little Twitter notifications about that there's a Gotham Knights game and that Batman's a part of the story, but you're not Batman, but you're the surrounding characters, albeit it's not an RPG, not to my knowledge anyway. It sort of gave me like some Knights of the Old Republic vibes, and I'm on board for that. I can't wait for this one.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
Let's dive into the trailer, guys. I'm going to swing things back over to Tommy B for a second. Tommy B, I don't know how big of a Batman fan you are, man. I know that thing dropped as we were live for the Halloween 2 watch-along for Hollywood Movie Night on the weekend. But, oh my God, he's gone. He's just gone. What the hell happened there?
Why'd you get rid of me? Yeah.
We hear you, but your your image just is
my feed is still going through, so
it is. You're just microscopic. Let's see if we can bring Tommy B back. I blame Intel Wild for this. Oh my God, yeah, Tommy B's having. I'm just gonna remove you for a second, dude, and bring you back.
You should totally blame the guy who does all the super chats. That's a great idea.
Yeah. He's a huge supporter of the channel, no doubt. But we can poke Intel a bit. Plus, we'll make it up to him the day that Tommy B comes on camera, and he's dressed up like a pimp. Intel's gonna go nuts. We're gonna make it happen. I don't care if I have to pay for the shit myself. We're gonna make it happen.
I was actually thinking today that I should get like a Jedi robe so I can wear that for it.
Nice. All right, so Tommy B, you're not a big. I don't think you're a huge Batman guy anyway. You had a chance to see that trailer, man. We're gonna start from you. We're gonna go clockwise. So we'll go you, Thaden, Kieran, myself. Matt Reeves, the Batman. It says it's a teaser trailer, guys, but the thing's 2.5 minutes long. Let's be real. That's a trailer. That's not a teaser. Although it does a really good job of teasing. Most teaser trailers are much shorter in length. Tommy B, did this do anything to get you hyped up for what's going to be 2 incredible weeks in October 2021?
Yeah. I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head when you said that. A teaser is the H kills teaser. That's a teaser. This was definitely a trailer. As far as big of a Batman fan I am, there's more Batman. There's more, all that DC and Marvel stuff I haven't seen, and I have seen. What I have seen, a lot of it I do love, and I will get a little bit geeky over, but it's just not my brand, if you know what I'm saying.
Well, you get to start fresh with this.
Having acknowledged this trailer here. It really excited some maybe we could say childlike feelings in me. Really brought back some Bat feelings I had when I started seeing the Dark Knight trilogy when I was younger in theaters. I know these are going to be totally different things. It's just that it really had that sense of being dark and maybe gritty. We would even say. These trailers, this trailer rather, it wasn't full of action. It was more drama based, I would say. You had a little bit of it, and yet at the same time, personally, I felt kind of pulled into it, if you know what I'm saying. I first saw this trailer. I forget who it was. If you're listening or watching right now, thank you.
Matt Whitfield.
Yep, Matt Whitfield mentioned it in the chat. I went on it, and while we were getting live and watched it. Yeah, that was pretty good. That was a nice way to get that stream started. And
we're doing a live watch along. I know you guys were away at your trailer or cottage or whatever it was. We're doing a live watch along Saturday, and Maddie drops the link in the chat and then messages me privately. So we did an intermission, and so I watched it on my phone. No one could see what I was seeing, but I rewatched the video just to see my facial reaction for the first time, a legitimate live reaction. Let's be honest. Most people on YouTube see something 5 times and go on and record themselves. Oh, this is my first reaction to the trailer, when in fact it's not. It was a legit reaction, and I think my facial expression showed how I felt. Tommy B, you said brought back memories of your childhood. It makes me kind of scared for what your childhood was, because when I seen this trailer, I thought to myself, oh, wow, this is kind of feels like Seven or The Crow. I thought it had really dark inspirations from those movies, and and I loved it. Thaden, man, first of all, where is your, how big of a Batman fanboy are you? What are some of the, like, up to today anyway, what's your favorite Batman movie, and how did you feel about this trailer?
My favorite Batman movie might be the cartoon one, Under the Red Hood. And that's because I love Red Hood. And
Shout out Jensen Ackles.
It's amazing, man. Yeah, I don't know. I friggin' love Batman, and I always have. He's my favorite superhero for sure. And it's not just like he's really cool to me. It's like there's a lot of depth to the character. I don't know, with like no killing and stuff like that. I don't know. My reaction to this trailer was, I'm very excited. I just watched it again while you guys were doing the first segment of this stream, and like, there's so much stuff. I think this is gonna be like the Batman version of the Joker movie that we got last year, and that's almost certainly my second favorite movie. I just love, like, I love Batman and Joker when it's like realistic and gritty, and like filmed super well was one of the things in the Joker movie, and it looks like this is doing all of those things, and I'm like super excited. The trailer looked amazing to me.
The one thing we've heard for a while now is that this was going to feel more like a detective Batman, and almost similar to how the Telltale games are, and obviously without the goofy graphic novel look to them. This is live action. I got that feel. I don't know about you guys. It felt, Thomas said it felt more dramatic than action, and I sort of expect the whole movie to be like that. Like, I think when the action's there, kind of like in Joker, it's going to be mesmerizing and great, but I think this is going to be a slow build, dramatic movie, and it's nice to have a switch. Kieran, how about you, man? Where's your Batman fandom? What's your favorite movie heading into today, and what do you think of the trailer?
Well, Batman-wise, like, I am a really big Batman fan. I have some Batman stuff around in my room as well. I was a really big fan of the animated series. I went to go see the Keaton movie in the theater when I was 5, I think. Like, honestly, I'm definitely a big fan of Batman, and I geeked out super hard with the trailer. First of all, like, when it comes to trailers and selling you on movies, music, I think, is like really, really important. Like, a lot of the great.
Let's have a look here. Are we back? Does anybody have us? Let us know. Are we back? Are we back? I think I'm back. Back in black, as AC/DC once said. I think we're good. All right, let's get back in there. Get that call going back up again. See if it resets everybody's window on us. It probably will, because that's what Skype does. Faraway shot. Well, we got three-fourths of us back. Tommy B is invisible somewhere. Let's see if we can get Tommy B back in here. There's Tommy B. Alrighty, now let's see if we can do this. Let's take you guys off the mute button, and I think we're back. So, once in a while, you see this issue happen with Fandom Empire, and as much money as we have sunk into this thing, I live in an old school house, and no doubt that wires need to be replaced. Oh my God, Tommy B's fucking window! I swear, it's a Skype thing. It's not Tommy B's fault, or maybe it is. Nobody's blaming him.
No, it's not my fault. It's definitely Skype's fault. By the way, we're looking at a chair right now. We're looking at another one of your secondary cameras.
I don't think we are.
The stream is good, though. I'm watching
Just run over to that chair.
Oh, okay. You're saying on Skype you guys see my chair.
Yeah.
Hang on. Let me share screen. Let's.
Yes.
All right. Any better?
Yeah, works for me.
Yeah.
Let's stick with that.
All right. So there's only so much we can do to fix that issue, which usually drops the internet 2 or 3 times a day. And most of the times it's not during the stream, but sometimes it is. And that's the way it goes. Kieran, you're ready to geek out about the trailer, man. I was with you on their Nirvana selection. I fucking love Nirvana. So for me, I was fanboying hard. What else did you think this trailer delivered, man? And how high is your hype level?
Oh my God, yeah, no, way up and climbing. I mean, some of the problems that I had with the Nolan movies, which I do really love, I don't have a ton to gripe about, was there's not a lot of action. And I know where Tommy said that maybe he felt like it wasn't going to be too much action, but watching Batman just like beat that clown down gave me a lot of joy. And that was awesome. And you got to see, it's funny, you get to see a really quick flash of Colin Farrell as Penguin.
Wow, the prosthetic makeup, my God.
Yeah, I know, it doesn't look like him. He looks closer to Danny DeVito than he does to himself now.
Yeah.
But that was really cool. And then, I mean, even just the mystery of the start where you hear the tape before they even show the picture. And then you get like a new looking character. And a lot of people are thinking that that character might be the Riddler because we see in the trailer that he gets left a card with a riddle in it. But that could just be the trailer throwing you off. I'm not sure if that's been confirmed. But you got a new looking bad guy. You know that Catwoman and Riddler are going to be, Catwoman and Penguin are going to be in it. I heard more bad guys are even going to be in it. And yeah, I just honestly, with as much as they showed us, which I think they showed a lot, it's still got so many questions, and like I'm dying to hear any answers now, which is what a trailer should do. So
I know for a fact that Paul Dano is playing the Riddler in this movie. That was made public. So if that, I think it's Paul Dano we hear in the trailer. I'm not entirely sure, but whoever it is, whoever's doing the voiceover, I mean, just money. They're totally bringing you into the movie and making you wonder what the hell's going on. And I think we hear a little bit of Andy Serkis as Alfred too, with You're Becoming a Celebrity, which is an interesting casting for Alfred. I never thought it'd be Andy Serkis as Alfred, but I'm all for it. Let's see how he does. This trailer totally blew me away. It's the most excited I've been to see a movie since probably the first Joker trailer debuted. I loved it. I dug it. And I'm so on board for this. Now, I want to talk about Robert Pattinson here for a second. Okay. There are people that, and people that I know that are huge Batman fanboys, far bigger than me. And the second they heard Robert Pattinson was cast as Bruce Wayne / Batman, they're basically out. Oh, not the Twilight guy. It's like, do you know how long ago those movies were? Do you know what Robert Pattinson has done since then? The dude is a fucking terrific actor. There's a reason why directors want to work with this guy. There's a reason why Christopher Nolan himself went out of his way to pull Pattinson into Tenet. Pattinson turned down Tenet at first, and Nolan had to pester him about it, and then eventually came on board for Tenet. I get it, and then I've seen the memes. People are like, oh, hey, it's emo Pattinson, and he looks like Peter Parker from Spider-Man 3. And it's like, but to me, it's a bit of a different take on Batman, where the Batman that we see in all the other movies, whether it's the Schumacher movies or the Nolan movies or the Tim Burton movies, is, yeah, the Batman's there, and yeah, Bruce Wayne went through this horrific event, but since then, he's kind of recovered and has been able to live out both lives. We've heard, the Bruce Wayne is the mask and the Batman is the man, but we never really see that in the movies. Like, even in Nolan's movies, they say that line, but to me, you see Bruce Wayne being Bruce Wayne still at times. Where with this, I would argue, like, especially the last shot where he takes off the cowl, like, to me, even though we're supposed to believe that's Bruce Wayne, to me, no, that's still the Batman. This guy is tormented. He's been through hell. And, the effects of this event have manipulated his life to this point. And he's only in year 2 of Batman, so he's still figuring himself out. I'm all for this interpretation, and I think if the thing that kills me is people are already writing off Pattinson as Batman, and most of those same people are the same people that wrote off Ledger as Joker, as if they didn't learn the first time.
Yeah.
Thaden, where are you with all this, man? Are you pro Pattinson? Did you have your doubts? Where are you after the trailer? So better yet, where were you before the trailer on Pattinson? Where are you after the trailer?
I don't think I've really seen him in anything. I didn't even know he was in Twilight until like a week or two ago. Yeah. And so beforehand, I don't know. I didn't really have much of an opinion. But then, like, coming up to the trailer, I had a couple friends talking about how amazing he is. And then I saw the trailer, and it was like, wow, I really, really loved it. It felt like you were saying, like, this is a Batman who's mostly Batman. It feels like Bruce Wayne might be a tool that Batman uses to get more information, that kind of Batman, which is what I love. That's how it feels in Arkham too. Like, Bruce Wayne isn't really present in those games. It's pretty much entirely Batman. And I love that kind of thing. I don't know. And he seems like he's doing a great job at being, like, dark and broody, sort of, but in the Batman kind of way where it's actually pretty cool.
I'm for it, man. I can't wait.
Yeah.
Kieran, how about you, man? What do you think of Pattinson before the trailer? I don't know if you knew he was in Twilight. Most people know that he was in Twilight, and they just automatically think that's the only thing he's ever done. But where are you now with Pattinson after seeing the trailer?
Well, I met my wife when those Twilight movies came out, so I had to subject myself to watching them. But whenever there's an actor like that and people are complaining like that, I just think back to, like, Leonardo DiCaprio earlier on in his career. People were like, oh, like, and then he turned out to be a fantastic actor. Like, people talking about Ryan Gosling when he got more serious roles, people talking about Chris Evans when he was Captain America. They were like, the guy from Not Another Teen Movie. Like, it happens all the time. Like, actors are known for a couple movies, and whether or not those movies are, I don't think the movie was great and he was bad in it. Like, when it came to the Twilight movies, I think that the movies were not for me and he was in them. So I always give actors a chance, and I think, if I like the director and the director wanted that actor, then there's got to be a reason for it. They know things that we don't, right?
No, absolutely. Totally with you on that.
I think we need to be fair, though, here in that recognizing that this same actor, prior to playing Edward Cullen in the Twilight Saga, played Cedric Diggory in the Harry Potter franchise, a role that was enjoyed by quite a many people. I will confess I have not seen all of the Twilight movies. I just noticed today by chance some, if not all of them, are on Amazon Prime, so I might actually make myself sit down and watch them. I read all the books.
I mean, I'll be blunt. I don't think they're as bad as some people portray them as being.
Just while I was here, just literally a moment ago, I just said, for the hell of it, I'm going to go and look up all the Rotten Tomatoes scores, and they tear those movies apart. They tear them to shreds. The audience scores on all of them, I think, were much higher. But even then, the audience scores were only 60s on average. So I tend to think that those films probably got finished because of the widespread fan base of the books. That's probably it. That really just sparked a little bit of interest in my mind. I've always known the films were generally torn apart, but I didn't think to that level. So,
I mean, I think every actor in their day has done some sort of bad movie. Maybe it doesn't get blockbuster attention, but it's hard to imagine that most major actors who have been in 20 or 30 or 50 films don't have one where they sit there and go, ugh, that was a horrible 60-day shoot, and thank God I got paid for that. Because, and Toronto Freddy said in the chat, he can't stand the Twilight films. Robert Pattinson, that is. And, there's obviously some personal reasons behind that, too. His co-lead, they were a thing, and then they weren't a thing, and someone cheated, and yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. To me, whenever you see a casting that goes, that doesn't make a lot of sense, I just sit there and wait, thinking, okay, let's see them knock this performance just out of the water. One of the reasons why I desperately wanted to see them go, despite their marketing hinting at it, have Luke Skywalker sort of turn to the dark side in The Last Jedi, which did not happen. I think Mark Hamill would have killed it as a villain, not just because he was the Joker, but because of his acting range. And I think Robert Pattinson has great acting range. I think this is going to be a more violent Batman. I also think it's probably going to be a more smart Batman too. There's a reason they're looking at this in a detective light. Lastly on the Batman here, guys, before we move to Kenobi to finish things up, this movie is a year away. Just where are you? Final thoughts on the Batman trailer. No specific question here. To the audience, too, comment in the comment section. Final thoughts on this Batman trailer. It'll probably be the last time we talk about it for a while. No doubt Johnny's probably somewhere hating on this the same way he hated on the Joker. Maybe he loved it. I don't know. I haven't talked to him since then. But what's everyone's final thoughts on the Batman? For me, it looks amazing. I've heard nothing but good things from Matt Reeves. And I'm really excited to see what comes of this film. Like, for me, the idea that we get this and then 2 weeks later, Halloween Kills, October 2021 is going to be an absolute blast. And I just hope that whatever they make the first movie, obviously the second movie is going to need to be a bit different, but let's just make sure it's not a carbon copy of something we've already seen. And so far, it seems very different from anything we've seen, and I'm all on board for that. Thaden, how about you, man?
I am in kind of a weird spot because, in general, I don't get as excited about trailers as a lot of people. Like, Kieran, you said you've watched this like 20 times. I've watched it 3 times, but I've still really enjoyed it, and I'm still excited for the movie. It's just like the trailer kind of just shows me like I'm probably going to love this movie. I don't know. I think like as we get closer and closer, I'm probably going to get more excited. Obviously, I already am excited. I was just talking about it. But I think it's going to be like a kind of movie that's like, I'll probably just, I'll let it kind of simmer down, and then it'll be like, and I'll be like freaking out thinking about the movie every single day. Before we move to the next person, there's one thing I really want to mention. I have not seen anyone calling it Robert Pattinson movie or him the Robert Pattinson Batman, which has got me real mad after Batfleck. So I just want everyone in the comments right now to start, or everyone watching to start using that term. And yeah, that's about all for me, I think.
That's awesome. Pattinson. So Robert Pattinson. I can dig that. Yeah, I dig that. Yeah. Kieran, how about you, man? Final thoughts on this trailer?
Well, I mean, the trailer blew me away. So, I mean, I don't really have anything bad I can say about it. If a trailer is supposed to set the tone for a movie, and I know the Joker trailer did that for me, and, most trailers really good at setting the tone. I can't remember a lot that I thought the trailer was this great and then was disappointed with the movie. It happens, but so far I'm cool with everything. I think it all looks great, and the tone is really, I think, the most important thing. And I'm getting something that I like. It seems like at the very least I'm going to enjoy the movie. I don't know if I'm going to be critical about it, but
it's definitely something that we're going to cover here on this channel extensively over the next year plus. And, nobody has a crystal ball. Nobody knows what's going to happen with the vid and the Sharona and where the pandemic's going to be at that time. Hopefully, we're all sitting in fairly packed theaters for proper reactions. But who knows? Nobody knows what's going to happen. Tommy B, final thoughts on the trailer. Is this trailer enough to make you want to go see it opening night?
The atmosphere of the film seems exciting. Just everything that we've seen so far seems inviting. It intrigues me. I'd have to have the right crew to go and check it out with, and we'd have to have certain conditions for me to want to go into a theater. But overall, I like what I see. I'm looking forward to seeing what comes of it.
Awesome. Good stuff. Well, there you have it. If you haven't seen it yet, I don't know what rock you've been living under. Matt Reeves' The Batman trailer is on YouTube right now. Go check it out. And if you've already seen it 500 times, go watch it another 200 times, because I think I've seen it about 50 times. So and I've watched a lot of reaction trailers too. I like seeing how other people react to the trailer. Although with that said, I'm a firm believer most of those are staged. Still, dig the trailer. All right, guys, final topic of the night. We'll get to some questions too. So if there's any time left here, send in your questions, whether they're super chats or normal questions, send them in. Halloween, Star Wars, the Batman, hell, even Supernatural, DC, you name it. Send your questions in now. Frank Riker sent in a super chat. Paul Dano borrowed Tom Hardy's Bane mask for the voice. Ugh, Bane's voice sucked in Dark Knight Rises. You mean you didn't like, we give it back to you, the people? I know that's a terrible impression, but I dug Bane. I got to be honest. I loved Tom Hardy as Bane. I know a guy who's not on this show right now hates Tom Hardy as Bane. But because it doesn't line up with the comic book version, there's not really a realistic spin for a comic book version of Bane. But I'm also a huge Tom Hardy fan, so my bias is definitely there. Intel Wild Super Chat. I'm not a big Batman fan, but I loved the trailer, and that's what they're gunning for. They want all the Batman fans to see it, but they also wanted it to be the type of trailer that catches everybody's attention, not just comic book fans. And hey, like I said, when I watched that trailer, it felt like Seven. It felt like The Crow. It felt like The Joker. You have those three movies combined in one. Sign me the fuck up. All right. Kenobi. We have been talking about Kenobi on this channel or on one of our podcasts since long before it was announced, when they were talking about doing a trilogy of movies back in 2015. We've been covering it since then. This thing is finally moving forward. There's some B-reel shots that are going to take place next month. Ewan McGregor's not expected to be on set. They'll have somebody, a stunt double dressed up, just some far shots, Tatooine shots in the desert, basically. But it's believed that Kenobi is only going to be either 6 episodes long or even as little as 4 episodes long. And to me, that's a little disappointing. I always knew it was going to be a limited series. They weren't going to give us multiple seasons of Kenobi, as much as I would, sign up for that. I'm a huge Obi-Wan fan. Kathleen Kennedy came out, confirmed a limited series. What worries me is this, guys. As much as I love Star Wars, I try to look at it without bias as much as I can and try to judge it as fairly as I can. If they're only going to do, let's say it's 4 episodes. We all know how long most of the Mandalorian episodes are. 24 to 32 minutes long with the exception of a couple. So if it's only 4 episodes and they're only a half an hour long, I'm sorry, as much as I love Obi-Wan, don't get me wrong, I'll be watching it the second they're out, and I'll probably love the content that we get. But if we've waited this long for 4 half-an-hour episodes, I'm calling massive bullshit on this, just because there's been so much drama about this show over the last year and a half. It's on, it's off. It's on, it's off. There's issues with the scripts. They're going through major rewrites. Oh, we got scripts we like. Oh, no, we don't. It's going back through major rewrites. It's a roller coaster ride with this show, much like most of Lucasfilm outside of The Mandalorian lately. If you're just going to do 4 half-an-hour episodes, can you just say fuck it and fuck Disney Plus and give us a 2-hour and 15-minute Kenobi movie in cinemas? Because if it's only going to be 2 hours of content and you're desperate enough to split that up into 4 episodes to get 4 weeks of Disney Plus subscription, to me, that's not right. Just do a fucking movie. Sorry, I'm really worked up about this, so apologies for my language. I love Kenobi. I have so much invested, emotional investment in this, as I'm sure millions of others do. But don't give me 4 30-minute episodes. Now, if they're going to do what Snyder Cut did, or is doing, where it's 4 1-hour episodes, then I'm like, okay, yeah, we're getting 4 hours of content. That makes sense. Sign me up for that. But 4 25 to 30-minute episodes, no thanks. Like, I'll watch them. I'm sure I'll like the content, but it is one of the worst business decisions and creative decisions that you could make with this content. People that have been waiting for more Ewan McGregor as Kenobi since 2005. Thaden, over to you first, man. Just your thoughts on my little rant there and where you are with it. Maybe you're more forgiving than I am and you're totally okay with 4 30-minute episodes. I personally am not if they go that way.
Yeah, so I think if it is something like, even if it's 6 30-minute episodes, I'll be kind of bummed. I think if it's like just short episodes, I will be bummed every single week, because that happened with The Mandalorian, and I'll have to like wait until it's over and then just watch it all at once. Because like every week with The Mandalorian, I was extra harsh on the episodes because it was like, oh, this isn't nearly as much as I want. But
it's also not as much as they advertised.
Yeah, I just looked it up. I thought I'd heard about this before. I don't think it's officially confirmed, but Ewan McGregor did say it should be 6-hour-long episodes. So hopefully that's what it ends up being. I don't think it's official though. You know, with all the changes this show's had, it could be having more. Oh, my face went tiny. But yeah, so I think if it is short, I'm gonna have to wait until it's over and then just watch it all. Now I'm giant. Yeah.
Issues with the window.
Yeah, I certainly want it to be like 6-hour-long episodes, because then it's basically a trilogy of movies. The story won't be, because it's a show, that the structure would be different, but it's as long as a trilogy of movies would be if it's 6-hour-long episodes. But I don't know. I really hope it is.
I would give them a pass even on 4 1-hour-long episodes. But the thing that killed me is The Mandalorian. Yeah. As much as I loved it, for like 2 fucking years, guys, they advertised this, not just, Variety or Hollywood Reporter or Deadline or any of those. Lucasfilm PR, people that work for Lucasfilm, advertised this as Game of Thrones type storytelling on television. Now, did I think it was going to be Game of Thrones? No, obviously not. It was never going to be adult like Game of Thrones. We weren't going to see Luke and Leia get it on in bed. That shit was never going to happen. Okay, but Game of Thrones tells a really good story, in my opinion, whether it's the novels or the TV show. They do wonderful world building. And the thing that I was critical about Mandalorian is, as much as I loved it, and I think it's some of the best Star Wars we've gotten in a long time, like, some of the episodes were 24 minutes long. Like, are you kidding me? Yeah. Like, that just feels like a cop-out.
Like anything happens. It feels like if you cut that episode in half, you could just stick it on the end of the episode before and the beginning of the episode after, and it wouldn't feel different.
Absolutely.
You could have just done that.
Totally with you.
I remember having that thought, too.
Tommy B, up to you, man. We've been talking back and forth on this since, from the time you joined Wastelands to the time you were just guesting on Wastelands. We've been talking about this project. All right. I think that we are, in fact, back. Let's have a look at this. Apologies, guys. Sometimes you're having a good day. Sometimes you're having a bad day. This is obviously a shit day, other than them coming to work on wires, which they're not going to go out of the way to do right now. Not much we can do. Most days it's good. This is not one of those days. Apologies. Let's get these guys back to finish up this Fandom Empire Live episode, and we will proceed from we will proceed from there, ladies and gentlemen. I think we have them back. It looks like we have them back. That is, there we go. It looks like everybody's back. Tommy B.
Is it my turn now?
It's your time now. Hey, Usually we don't run into these issues, 2 of them in one episode. You know it's not your day when. But thankfully, it just keeps on going and keeps track of everything. So big thanks to YouTube for that.
I was telling Thade and Kieran earlier that we've started having these issues once you upgraded your internet.
Yeah, you know what? There's been more of these.
Nice freaking upgrade.
Legitimately have the best internet that you can buy in our area. We're talking like 1 gig download. I think it's 35, 40 upload. It's, it is what it is. It's obviously some hardwired issues, and just bear with us, audience. Best I can tell you. Tommy B.
Yeah. So
look,
I'm just gonna go into this.
Well, I want you to. Hey, no. I'm gonna preach at you here for a second. You are too reserved sometimes to the live audience, man. I know how you can get. You have some hate in you, some Sith in you, some dark side in you over some of the bullshit decisions that Lucasfilm has made with our franchise. It's not ours to make those decisions, and you don't have to like them all. But I know
they don't own us anything. Don't forget.
They don't. We're not entitled. We're not entitled for anything. Let's not just go around saying we're entitled. You're right about that. It's more of when you advertise something, deliver it as you advertise it. Don't bullshit your fan base. And Tommy B, I'm dying to hear where you are with Kenobi, with the gloves off. Let everybody show how much of a hater you really are.
Well, looking back to The Mandalorian, don't piss on me and tell me it's raining. The length of these episodes fluctuated for so freaking long, and honestly, we didn't know what we were going to get until episode 1 dropped. And then once that happened, we were like, well, okay, maybe this is just because it's the first one. Maybe the next one will be longer. And then it wasn't. And that whole freaking pattern continued all the way through the 8th week of The Mandalorian, the 8th episode. Now,
what was the longest? 40 minutes?
Kenobi news. This freaking Kenobi news, where they're saying, oh, yeah, well, it's definitely a limited series. Look, we knew that. We knew we weren't going to be getting 20-some episode, 2-3 season sort of thing. We knew that wasn't going to happen. But if you're telling me that you want to give me four episodes of 20 to 30 minutes, yeah, I'm on the same boat. Don't give me a miniseries. Now, I'm probably going to be paying for Disney Plus anyway for other reasons, so I'll still watch it. But honestly, don't waste time. Just put it in cinema. For real. It's hard to bring words to this shit because, honestly, it's common sense. I mean, you're just playing with your fan base here in different levels. I understand directors, showrunners, they need their room to be creative. At the same time, listen to your fans. And yes, we're not entitled to what we want, or to what we demand and what have you. But just for once, listen, just a little.
How about that quote by Kathleen Kennedy last week? I don't have it. Did I send it in the chat, guys?
25,000 freaking years.
I don't think I have access to it, but basically
25,000 years.
Basically, paraphrasing, she's like, it has just come to light that there's actually 25,000 years of mythology.
Fuck off.
You have been the head honcho since October, actually earlier than October 2012, and you're just now realizing there's thousands of years of mythology? Again, I'm sure she actually knows about Knights of the Old Republic and all the prior stories.
I was totally fine with the canon reset. So I wasn't within the first 20-some minutes, half hour, maybe a couple days when this news first dropped. But I was able to get on board with it. The fact is, all we're getting are callbacks. This callback, we're going to tie this piece in. We're going to bring this in. We're going to integrate this. Revan, Bane in some ways, what have you. If we were really going to do this, why did they just totally nix the canon in the way they did? I haven't been able to understand that. I haven't been able to wrap my mind. I haven't been able to connect the Legos, connect the dots, and what have you. It feels like, in some ways, they regret the decision, but they don't want to undo it. Which I get.
You know what the other horrible part of that statement is? The statement she made. It's, we're taking a step back to reevaluate, what Star Wars means and how we can go forward in the future. Bob Iger, literally about a year ago, the same time, said the exact same thing. So did you step back at all during this last year, or did you just piss away a year? Look, we're going to get to the Rogue Sons guys in a second because I'm sure they're more positive than we are with this stuff. Just look, we went through 200 episodes of Star Wars Wastelands with other side projects. I love The Force Awakens. I've completely changed how I feel about Rogue One. I really like the movie. It's grown on me. I think Solo's a solid movie. It just sucks what happened during the production of it.
I often like to preach that I thoroughly enjoyed Solo more than you personally. Except they paid for the film twice. I
think The Last Jedi is complete elephant dog shit, and I don't blame Rian Johnson because Rian Johnson. I'll wait for you guys. You guys can. Rogue Sons guys, I want you both to just let free, and you can tell us how wrong we are on certain things. Difference in opinion is okay. I really want to hear your guys' stance on some of this stuff. But I'm not one of those guys that's going to be like, hey, it's Rian Johnson's fault. Rian Johnson's a piece of crap or whatever. Rian Johnson was hired to do a job, was allowed to go do the job he decided to do, and that's the movie that came out of it. It's not Rian Johnson's fault. He was hired by people that had a complete lack of vision on how to put a trilogy together. And you literally have the actual cast saying, and people behind the saying, there was no set plan. It's not just, crybaby, man baby, fan expectation shit. The sequel trilogy is a mess. It just is. And their PR team, my God, Kathleen Kennedy, make no mistake, is one of the, if not the greatest producer in Hollywood history. Look at her resume. It is mind-blowingly good. But she is not a PR person, and she's not a creative head. And right now she's wearing those hats. They need to get her away from creative. Let her do the job of actually being the president, and let guys like Favreau and Filoni and other people come up with the stories that need to be told, or even bring in new people to tell, wait for it, new stories that aren't repackaged things. Again, I can't stand how shitty the Lucasfilm PR team is. It's terrible. And it is what it is. Rogue Sons, guys, I think we've filled the last 15 minutes with enough negativity. Maybe you guys are going to continue to pile on. All the power to you, but maybe you have a different perspective. I could keep going. Yeah, we could, but let's get these two in here. Guys, just your general thought on the state of Lucasfilm, the comments Kennedy made, and where the hell this franchise is going on top of the Kenobi series coming.
You talk first, I talk first.
Yeah.
Great line.
Start with the statement from Kathleen Kennedy, the thing about the 25,000 years. That is really freaking weird at the very least. Because, it does... I know, obviously, she's not the only one making the movies or the books or the comics or the shows or whatever. So, those people are definitely well aware that there's a history. At least some of them are. And she probably was aware that there was a history in Star Wars as well. But the way she worded it is all right, well, we've run this dry, and now let's go look somewhere else and redo something else, which is weird. I'm happy that it sounds like finally they might be turning their gaze to something like Knights of the Old Republic. It would be good. I'd love to see a reboot of that. It told in a different way, because you can't do the same thing again exactly, but another version of that era. But it was a bad way to say it, and I don't know why they didn't start looking into it sooner, because it doesn't sound like they did. And I don't know, It's weird. Kieran, what do you think about that quote?
I don't have a problem with it because I feel like, people get put on the spot and like, yeah, she probably could use some better skills at interviewing and knowing what she's going to say ahead of time. But like, I find it like sometimes people just get caught off or caught off guard. And like, I mean, the quote doesn't bother me at all. It was funny. I laughed when I saw it. It seems like, like she watched the movies for the first time. She's like, wait, there's more of this stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like,
it
you
doesn't
made this
piss
stuff.
me off, but it's still like, well, that's weird. You probably shouldn't have worded it that way.
Yeah. I mean, it didn't bother me much. And I did want to talk about the Kenobi as well. It didn't bother me at all that it's supposed to be a limited series. I did hear that it was supposed to be 6 one-hour episodes, and I mean, it's not confirmed, but going off that assumption, that doesn't bother me at all because I don't think that I don't want them to make up so much stuff about what Obi-Wan did that we didn't hear about. I would like to hear, like one arc of what he did. I don't want to hear, like, I would hate if they had 15 episodes and there was like 5 different arcs involving all sorts of different characters that he's not supposed to meet yet. Or, like, I would just like to see like just one arc of something that he did. So like, I mean, I know, I don't know if you guys have seen Battlestar Galactica, the 2000s, whatever, but that started off with a standalone like mini series. I think that was maybe 4-hour something episodes. And it seems like a long time when you watch it. So I don't know. It doesn't bother me. And I don't want them to expand on like, hey, did you know that Obi-Wan did everything ever in those like 8 years after? Yeah. I would rather just get one story and I'll be excited for it. You gotta be patient. Gotta be patient.
Yeah. I'm in the same boat there. I would not want to see him do all that much. He's supposed to just be a hermit in the desert watching over Luke. So like, there's only so much you can do on Tatooine, and if they started making him leave Tatooine every season, it would be like, well, he's not doing his job. Like, he kind of forgot about that. It would be weird. It wouldn't fit.
They better not.
He
They better not kidnap
EU though.
He did.
They better not kidnap like 8-year-old Luke. Like, oh, I gotta get him back. Like that would suck.
I think kind of happens in the comics, and I mean, he can leave like. To some degree, I think he could leave and come back, but I think he should spend most of his time in the desert being a hermit. I feel like that's who he's supposed to be.
If he leaves, it has to be something urgent.
If Liam Neeson even talks one line in it, I'll be like, oh. So.
My wish list is simple for Kenobi. I don't feel like I have unrealistic expectations. I want to see one more Ewan McGregor lightsaber fight. You pick it somehow. Let's be honest, he's having a lightsaber fight, guys. Maybe it's not going to be against another lightsaber. He's going to have some sort of hand-to-hand lightsaber combat fight. It's going to happen.
One at the end.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if that's how it goes. But, give us Liam Neeson, even if it's just in one episode, in one scene. Give us Obi-Wan finding out that Anakin is still alive and is Vader, because in current canon, that doesn't exist at the moment.
That's true.
And I mean, by the time the original trilogy hits, he knows it's him, so he's got to find out somehow. And honestly, that's kind of it. Show him suffering, because as much as he's there to protect Luke, we know he went through like his own like PTSD. Even when you look at some of the canon comics, although they could easily ignore them, he struggles with it. We've heard the rumor that Hayden Christensen's been casted in the series. That would make sense. We've heard the rumor of Clone Wars flashbacks in the series. That would make sense. I don't have an unrealistic expectation for this series. I'm fine with it being a limited series. I just don't want to see them pump out 4 30-minute episodes. If you're going to do that, give us one Kenobi movie. Go make your $1 billion at the box office and give us a movie if you're going to do that.
I think that's the same kind of thing I want to see. The thing I was going to say earlier, I want to see him, I want to see Obi-Wan with PTSD from having to chop off his best friend's limbs and leave him burning in a lava planet and then die as far as he knows. So there's a lot of stuff there, and he was in a war just before that for 3 years. So he could easily have PTSD. I want this to be like a slow show dealing with that, and
I want to show his
really
flaws.
like it. I'd really like it if you saw like him actually having new scenes with Hayden Christensen as Anakin, but like, you know, like he just what's the word? He has like hallucinations of him or something. I'd love to see something
awesome.
like that. Like, you know, like he wakes up and like you can see Hayden Christensen like burned up or like standing in like the corner of the room or something, and he's like freaked out and whatever. I don't know. Stuff like that. I'd like to see him freaked out in a way like in Joker, how he hallucinates a bunch of stuff in that movie, and like you don't know if it's real or not. And obviously we would know, but like it could be really cool.
Or maybe he has a force mind connection with Anakin, and Anakin's got a super wide chest.
He's
hello,
shirtless
Kylo
with
Ren.
a wide chest and pants up to his gut.
I guess the last question for the show here, guys, we'll keep it simple. Tommy, I'm going to go to you. When you look at we don't know a lot of the Star Wars projects coming, but we know there's Mando Season 2, Mando Season 3. We know there's a Cassian show. It's suspected Ahsoka's going to get her own show. That's what this is being a backdoor pilot in Mando Season 2. Is Kenobi the Star Wars project you're currently most excited for, and if so, why?
No.
Ooh, ouch.
No.
Whew, chest pains.
There have been too many problems.
So you're already worried it's going to be a mess?
Yes, I've been worried that it's going to be a mess because there are too many projects in the, too many pastries in the oven. I don't know how you want to phrase it.
Chefs in the kitchen.
Yeah, let's go with that one. Do I love Star Wars? Oh, it's my favorite fandom. I've been into Star Wars for longer than I can remember. Honestly, though, if we look back days, weeks, months before the acquisition happened, maybe even after, and you asked us, did we think we were going to be getting this much new content in this short period of time? The answer would have been no. And, you know, it's a lot of this new content we've gotten over the years has been divisive. It really has. When the canon reset happened, there were mixed ideas about what was actually going to happen. What I don't want to see happen with Kenobi, this is kind of jumping back into the previous question. I don't want to see Kenobi turn into a live action retelling for a good portion of its runtime of stuff that we already have in other forms of media.
You're talking like the John Jackson Miller novel and all that?
For instance, look in Rebels. That Maul and Kenobi showdown, while I loved it, I did. It wasn't my favorite thing at first because it wasn't actiony really, but I've grown an appreciation for it. While all of it was not taken directly from the Legends universe, the premise of it was. You can't argue with that. And we already talked about Legends, EU, whatever canon, borrowing already, so we're not going to revisit that again. But I don't want to see, especially since it's a limited series, this Kenobi show borrowing too many old elements, such as Obi-Wan training somewhere or going off-world or what have you, or even bringing the Maul confrontation to live action.
They can't do that. If they're going to do that, they're going to alienate themselves.
There have been speculations about it in the fan base. I'm pretty sure they're just speculations. Do I think it's going to happen? Absolutely not. It's just an example. If it happens, it's going to be pretty bad.
Let me tell you, there's speculation in the fan base that, John McDonald just threw this out there, and Tommy, you and I have talked about this off air. There's speculation. John, we're not beating on you here, man, so don't think so, or don't think like that. But there's literally people that see fucking Mr. Mikey the Zero jackass guy go out there and make up a bunch of rumors, or he's the modern day Super Shadow. If you know who that is, you paid attention during the prequel trilogy. George Lucas is not redoing the final trilogy. It's not on the table. He's not directing a Star Wars movie. I'd pay for it. I'd love to see them be like, yeah, George, Steven Spielberg, go do one Star Wars movie. Have it not attached to anything else and have at it. I'd line up for it. But no, I could beat my head off a microphone right now.
You know, there have been whispers in the fan base also about them doing another canon reset. And
it's not true. I'm sorry. It's all fabricated bullshit.
I sure hope it is. I don't believe it, but something like that I would certainly believe would just fracture the franchise beyond any other way we've ever seen. But we're getting too far off base here.
Frank Riker
we can
said,
save that for another clickbaity video of some kind.
Frank Riker says somebody needs to kick Baby Yoda, kick a field goal with Baby Yoda. That's just mean, Frank. I've got a Baby Yoda little canvas piece hanging up behind me. I got the life-size Baby Yoda pop. You can't see it, but it's up there.
Sweet. You know, if you really want to know what project I'm most personally excited about, it's anything that we get in the future that brings together Clone Wars / Rebels elements with those original characters, particularly Ahsoka, of course. I don't know to what extent they're going to utilize them, but I do like seeing, I don't want to call them underdog characters because, you know, they do have a following and they're much, much beloved. But they don't have the same following as your major characters that we've seen on the big screen. So that's what I'm really looking forward to most personally right now.
I mean, I don't know how Kieran and Thaden think. There's only one thing that would get me more excited than a Kenobi series, and that's go do something with Revan and Knights of the Old Republic, and I'll wait anxiously and hope that you don't completely fuck it up.
I'm still skeptical about it, but I would be more than pleased if they brought it in.
All right, guys.
Would never satisfy us like Coder 1 and 2.
We got to wrap this up in a couple of minutes, but before we do, Thaden, Kieran, guys, is Kenobi, out of the announced projects or the heavily rumored projects, the one you're most excited for? If not, what is? Go ahead, Kieran.
It is for me. I'm a really big into the Jedi, and I would like to see the Jedi painted in a different light, because I mean, I understand what they stand for and, you know, what they were created for, but I think everybody kind of thinks of them as the Clone Wars version, the wartime Jedi, which, like, I think they all lost their way. So I would like to see I would like to see a PTSD version of Kenobi, like you're saying, but I would like to see Kenobi, like, question what it is to be a Jedi and why it didn't work out. And I would like him to get back into the roots of being a Jedi. Like, if you follow the EU, you get a lot better, stronger version of a Jedi Council rather than playing global police, which I mean doesn't really make sense for what they stand for. So if it could shed any light on, you know, what it means to be a Jedi or that sort of thing, that I'd be over the moon for it. So, but I mean, if it doesn't happen, I'm happy to see Ewan McGregor do hopefully cool stuff.
That was my favorite response all night, to shed more light on being a Jedi, because if there's one thing that I believe during the prequel trilogy, they don't outright tell you that's the story they're telling, but I mean, look at Mace Windu. Mace Windu is like the pinnacle of a guy who doesn't realize he's completely corrupting his own order with the way he does things, and is one of the guys that is maybe not the most responsible for Anakin's fall, but he certainly didn't help matters any during Anakin's tenure in the Jedi Order. Thaden, how about you, man? What's your answer, dude? I believe you're muted, man. He's miming. He's miming his words. Hey, he's still miming his words. Uh-oh. We got anything? Have we lost Thaden's audio?
Thaden says he wants a bunch of Sith stuff, and he wants as many Sith Lords to show up as possible, and hopefully they eradicate the Jedi, is what I would guess.
Just so we're clear, can anybody hear Thaden right now or no?
I cannot.
Not me.
I guess Thaden has had a muzzle put on him for the end of this one, guys. With that said, there's the music. That's it. That is the end of Fandom Empire Live, episode number 20. A couple more super chats to read out. I believe they were both from Intel. Intel says, love Fandom Empire. Maybe Tommy B needs to step up his internet game. No, it's not Tommy B's fault. That's all on my end, man. Anyways, gentlemen, thank you for joining us today. I will assume Thaden says it's a great pleasure to be here. I agree with absolutely everything that you said. I don't disagree with any of your comments. And no, of course not. But thanks for being here, Thaden. Kieran, man, it was a pleasure. Can't wait to sit down and do Imperial Remnant broadcast episode number 1 next week. Thanks for joining us, dude.
Yeah, I'm super psyched.
Where can everybody find you guys at in the Rogue Sons podcast?
We have Rogue Sons podcast on Spotify. It's on Anchor FM. You could just, we're only us and some motorcycle group come up when you type in Rogue Sons. So you can find us there. We have it on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We literally just posted our first episode that has a theme song in it, which is episode 5. It's got some pretty cool music and drops, so check it out. And we're going to be posting on Fandom Empire because we're really glad to join you guys.
Awesome. Good stuff. Intel Wilden with another
Is it
super
working
chat.
yet?
It's working. He can say a proper goodbye. Miracles happen.
I can give my really quick answer to the question if you want.
Yeah.
So my answer is no, I'm not the most excited for Kenobi, but I am really excited for it. I think I'm just more excited for Mando Season 3, just because it's probably going to be, extra cool compared to Season 2. Yeah, I don't know. I think it'll have more firm footing by then, and I want to see that era explored more. And Baby Yoda.
I hope when it comes time, they're not afraid to recast Luke Skywalker during that time. Don't know who, don't know how, but I'm okay with the Luke Skywalker appearance at some point. It's time to let somebody else have the reins. Refusing to recast usually gets yourself more problems than actual recasting. Tommy B, man, thanks for doing this, dude. Where can everybody find you at, bro?
It was good coming on, hanging out, getting a little bit grumpy about Star Wars, like usual, like everyone else.
Fuck yeah!
Catch me hanging around Facebook with our groups and pages. If you want to follow me on other platforms, I'm on Instagram and Twitter at TommyB1650, but I'm mostly active on Facebook, of course.
He's Tommy B. He's here. He's not drinking any beer. He should be, though. And, sign that petition, guys. Sign my petition to restart the Star Wars universe because it just... No, well, I don't like petitions. I don't. And as much as I might not like some of the new content, it is what it is, and it's here to stay. Accept it, get over it, move on. For Kieran, for Thaden, for Tommy B, and for Johnny, who is not here... big thanks to everybody who joined in, everybody who super chatted, everybody who just spent the last 2 hours of their night dealing with a couple of internet issues on our end, but supporting our content as always, and Kieran's little baby Yoda buddy there as well. Check us out on Instagram, Fandom Empire Now, Camp Haddonfield Podcast, and ignore that last one because it's actually Star Wars IRB, and on Twitter it's at Fandom Empire Now, at SWRenegades, and at Star Wars IRB. We will see you guys next week, probably a little later this week at some point. Until then, ciao. By the way, huge shout out to Toronto Freddy, who was throwing some just really cool Star Trek jokes in there. We know he doesn't like Star Wars, but it's okay, Freddie. We still love you. Peace, everybody.